What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the most important NYCFC talk show. You guys are hanging with the dudes in blue on this Memorial Day edition. Hope this episode finds you well. It's episode 105, and yes, it's Memorial Day. Hope you guys are enjoying your Memorial Day weekend, and we're still here for you. I'm your host, Joe Amato. Alongside me, as always,
Antonino. What's up, everybody?
Dude, what's going on? Happy Memorial Day.
Yes, happy Memorial Day to you, too.
As the folks start joining in right off the bat, saying hello to Henry, what's going on? Say hi to us in the comments. Start smashing the like button. Share this broadcast with your friends. We do appreciate you sharing this with your NYCFC faithful. Stephen Parks Bell, what's going on? Good to see you as always. We've got a few things to go over tonight. It feels like the NYCFC Houston Dynamo match was very, very long ago, as Anthony and I were just talking about a few minutes ago before we started the broadcast. So we're gonna get into what our feelings about that. We might talk a little bit of Champions League, maybe a little bit of U.S. men's national team that's going on right now. We want to know what you guys want to talk about as well, because it's a Memorial Day edition. We weren't sure if we were gonna do one 100%, but then we were like, wait, it's Monday, we're just gonna do it. So let's kind of get into it. Just saying hi to Ronald. What's going on? Christian Smith with the notification squad coming in. John Levin as always, and Andres Buenos Nachos. I know that's not how you say it, but dude, it's been a few days. Have you recuperated from the display of horribleness that was NYCFC in Houston?
Yeah, I eat my feelings on a regular basis, so I've wiped out that game with about 6 burgers, 3 hot dogs, 2 chicken wings, and a small submarine sandwich.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
Yes.
Yeah. Most of which was consumed at my house on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. What better way to sulk in family tears?
Yeah, just beer and food. We totally were stress eating for 24 hours straight. Thanks, New York City FC.
Glorious.
Yeah, so right off the bat, last week we were talking with Anthony Merced, our contributor, and dude, we were like, there's no way he's going to play 3 in the back against Houston. That was a one-off thing against Colorado, one of the worst teams in the league. What does he do? He must have listened to our broadcast and said, I will show them.
I think it's exactly what happened. Listen, at this point, it's not so much the formation. I think it's still the attitude of playing out of the back and starting in your own, so deep in your own end that you are so prone to giving up grade A scoring chances when the ball is given up where it's given up. And I don't want to hear excuses about the personnel that were on the field. Everyone is more than competent enough to play. But you've got to realize that when you're getting pressed, you cannot make mistakes. And if you know that you're not going to play perfectly, which no team does, and you're going to make mistakes, we have to realize that our mistakes are going to be made in the exact same spots as they've been made for the last 2.5 seasons. We make the same mistakes of having poor distribution from the back line to the midfield, and that's what happens. Whether you've got 4 guys back there or 3 guys back there, doesn't make a difference. A bad pass in that spot ends up in the back of our net almost every time. So it doesn't really make a difference. I mean, that's more of a midfield type thing where you're trying to, flood the midfield with numbers and keep the ball there. But again, if you're still trying to play out of the back, that has to be 100% flawless. And you're not going to get 100% flawless ever because this doesn't happen with anybody. So for me, you've got to, if you're going to play 3 in the back, have a little bit of faith in doing something different, of getting a long ball down the field and using the midfield to your advantage, because just the giveaways were so glaring and so textbook. Excuse me. It's just it was after the first goal, the game was downhill. It was awful.
Right.
We had no chances.
You have a point in that it's not necessarily how many defenders that you have in the back, because it was the second goal for the most part that we pretty much gave away. I'm going to get to a comment from Christian here in just a second, but yeah, the passes out of the back, you got to have another look. You really do, because any time, any team is throwing pressure our way, and we insist on playing out of the back. Just one pass missed, or one bad touch like we saw from Ofori coming out of the back, and you're immediately 3-on-1, 4-on-2. You handed him a gift is what you did there. So yeah, whether you have 3 defenders, 4 defenders playing in the back, if you can't play out of the back for the short pass, boot it, Sean. Just boot it. The amount of times that we've conceded not only chances but goals because of our insistence on playing out of the back, no matter whether you have a pass or not, it's got to stop. It's infuriating. Let me throw a comment here.
Go ahead.
3 in the back isn't a terrible idea, but it's wasted with Alex Ring playing center back. Especially when Herrera went out, Ring should have moved up. The game started off fine. First half wasn't bad. If you came into the first half and you watched NYCFC, you were like, okay, we've got a shot at coming away with 3 points in this game. We look pretty dominating. With the exception of the first minute hiccup there, with the pass that went in the box that Sean Johnson thought was going to go out and was like, oh crap, the ball's in front of me.
I crapped myself on that one.
Yeah. I think we all did. But yeah, I think the first half was okay. The adjustments, again, we're talking Andres' comment. Patrick's halftime adjustments are worse than the Jets versus Patriots game, and the Jets are getting blown out, and the coach doesn't make any changes. That's kind of a different story there too. We have to kind of talk about the injury to Angel Herrera, and we do hope he's okay. I haven't checked. Last time a picture I saw of him, he was in a boot, so I don't know if we're going to be seeing him for a little while. But you put in Tommy McNamara, and dude, in my opinion, having Tommy McNamara and Ebenezer Ofori and Alex Ring in the midfield, too damn slow. There was no pace, there was no quickness coming out of the midfield. We just got eaten alive there. That's just
you didn't have Alex. You had Maxi in the midfield. Maxi, Tommy, and Ofori. Because Ring was still playing center back at that point.
Yeah, all right. I in my mind, I kind of always think of him in the.
Yeah, of course you should. That's where he should be. That's his position.
But yeah, Henry's throwing up the comment on Facebook saying, without Ring and Johnson making some clutch plays, we could have lost by a lot more. I just said to you right before we went live, if it's not for Sean Johnson making some insane saves, it's 6-1, 7-1. I mean, absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, and with no chances the other way to show for it. We really didn't have anything. We couldn't penetrate through midfield and get anything close to the net.
I don't know if I could find the stat, dude, but I'd be curious about the possession stats in the second half versus the first half, because I feel like it was just an onslaught from Houston in the second half.
We were chasing the game very much second half. I mean, we just couldn't get anything started. And the minute we gave rid of the ball, they were just down our throats. And it was just bad news. But Tommy, he's a good soccer player. Don't get me wrong, but defensive deficiencies and speed deficiencies are in the midfield is a glaring weakness. You can't put somebody like that in the midfield like that. I know we always say we want to try him out there and see what happens. He needs to be put in more of an attacking capacity and stay in the middle to the attacking third of the field. He really can't drop back because he's not fast enough to go up and down. He doesn't have the stamina to go back and forth on the field. And let's face it, he's much more suited with that shot from the outside of the box, which he had an opportunity to do twice and he didn't take it.
He had a couple chances there, sure.
But again, I think his play is much more suited for the wings or getting into the box and finding that garbage goal, which he almost did.
Yeah.
In the first half. But again, it's at that point, why don't you just Herrera gets injured, play 4 in the back again, put Ring up, sub in defender, move everybody around, and play 4 at the back and keep your midfield going and try to do it that way. There's times to try these things out, like preseason, and times not to try them out, like Friday night. You want to keep momentum going, and they just can't do it. They just cannot find it, and it's sad because it's all stubbornness at this point. It's all Patrick's stubbornness to not know how to adjust in game on the fly. Sometimes from half to half he can do it, but sometimes he really can't. And it's sad when we can all see it and call it as it's happening, but he's not doing anything to change that. What is this incessance of subbing people out after the 65th minute? If you have to do it, do it. Give the person coming in who's giving you a better chance, give them more time. Give them more minutes to flourish and do stuff. Especially with the schedule you have coming up, you're going to have to play players that have not played at all. How do you think that's going to work out? There's going to be another Open Cup next Wednesday where we're going to flounder because half of our team hasn't touched the field. You have to have so many Americans in the lineup, so you might see Sands, you might see Lewis, so who the hell knows what's going to go on? You might not see certain people who should be there because
you might see Kip Man Dan make an appearance on the.
Listen, you might as well see you and me make an appearance on the field. It boggles my mind that a coach can see the same things going wrong time after time. It's not like they're new problems. These are the same problems that keep happening. If you keep having the same problems and you keep doing the same things to try to correct them and it's not working, you need to figure something else out. And at this point, I think he's exhausted his bag of tricks. He doesn't have anything else. I think it's too late in the season to start trying to figure out how to play a different way. And at this point, I know people are going to be upset that if he leaves, which speculation today is growing that this week is the last week with people from Nice coming in. I don't know. Again, I'm not going to throw things out there, but this is what we've heard. This is what's available to everybody. But at this point, dude, go. Go, because if you leave, the team will fall apart and we'll lose, or you'll keep playing the same way and we're going to lose again anyway. So what's the difference?
Yeah. I want to get to a couple comments here, dude. Amanda Collins, I finally convinced a friend to watch a game with us. Sorry. Trying to get more people into NYCFC out here, and we had to watch that. Well, you picked a hell of a game to get somebody involved.
Bad news.
Christian Smith is saying Medina and Tajori should have been starting. I've given up on Burgett and those damn socks. We'll talk about that in just a moment. He also says that one good performance against a struggling Colorado side doesn't convince me. We'll talk about that in a moment as well. Let's start off with the Burgett conversation here, dude. You have been a Burgett defender,
trying
for some time, and for good and with good cause. I gotta hand it to you, but Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah.
At what point? How many times does he have to go one-on-one with a keeper, and he tries to poke it? How many times does the man get the ball in front of his feet, and the ball somehow winds up behind him? Now, I know he's had some bad delivery. Yeah. It's been difficult to get the ball in front of him. However, why is it that every time I feel like the man has the ball in front of him, he winds up stumbling over the ball and it ends up behind him?
Yeah.
Now what is it? Because this is becoming too normal.
Yes. So at this point, I had to weigh the good with the bad, and now the bad is starting to creep up a little bit past the good. Again, you have great hold-up play. You're making great runs. You pull defenders to you, which gives all kinds of space. Right. That's fine. But at some point, with your salary and with your position, has to come the ball hitting the back of the net. And now it's getting to a point where if you have 2 or 3 more games like this, you just can't be part of the 18 at all. Because it's not going to happen for you. You need to do something to make it happen. And again, there's a huge part of it of where teammates are. You're right. The delivery hasn't been great. How many passes have you seen should have been put 6 feet in front of him so he can get to the ball, but they end up behind his feet and he has to stop playing and allow defenders to catch up? It's part of it. But again, when you have the opportunity, great players convert, and he's not converting right now. You're going to have to step aside at this point. It's too much. I can only defend you so much, and you've played great. Your Colorado game was probably your best game, and you didn't score a goal. You've played other games where you have scored a goal. Well, one of the game where you scored a goal. But you've got to do more, and you've got to want it. And at this point, even Medina is just not – I understand he's got the assists and the goals, but for the life of me, he disappears far too often. Just far too often, and he loses the ball far too often. He just is not that challenging player that I want to see. I want to see aggression. I want to see the passion that David Villa has going one-on-one against somebody with other players on this team. I don't want to see him doing all the work, because then this is what ends up happening. You'll have a game like Friday where they start losing, and all of a sudden the defense is having trouble getting the ball to the midfield. And what does the midfield start doing? They start playing with their backs to the keeper, waiting for the ball. That is our number one issue. When we move together as a unit up the field and down the field, it is much more smooth because everyone is looking in front of them and can see everything that's going on. The minute they start passing the ball to waiting midfielders because the defense is struggling to get the ball up the field, you start playing with your back to the keeper and you invite defenders to come and pick your pocket every single time. There is no amount of turn moves and heel flicks that are getting past a defender that you cannot see. It's the guys are right behind you all the time. You are inviting you're an open book. The ball comes right to you. They can see what's going on. They can read everything that's happening. And you turn into a team that all of a sudden, where's David? Where's David? We're trying to get him the ball. Well, you know what? You can't start doing that again. You have to believe in everybody that's on the field, and everyone has to have the same aggression. And I feel like once this team's behind the 8 ball, and they weren't behind the 8 ball, they started with an early lead in the 8th minute. At that point, everybody's got to be all systems forward and crushing. Doesn't matter who you're playing, you have to crush. You have to beat the crap out of every single person you play. I don't care if you're exhausted at the end of the year, because if you put up 3-0, 4-0 results, 3-1 results all year long, you're doing a great job, and people are going to fear you and play you differently, and that's when you're going to start winning games tactically. But right now, it's a shambles. It's a complete mess. And I don't want to hear, it's only one game, it's only one game. It's not one game. It's Portland, it's Red Bull, it's this match. It's 3 in the last 5 weeks. Give me a break. Let's not call this team a contender right now because they're not playing like it.
They did against Colorado, but that's
Colorado's terrible.
I had to throw that in there. I had to throw that in the ring. Right? This team, dude, year after year, I keep coming back to my Jekyll and Hyde theory. This team is one team one week and a completely different team the next. Who is it? Is it the coaching? Is it the players on the field? I don't know anymore. I really don't know anymore. It's absolutely infuriating. John Levin throwing up the stat. They're 2-3-3 in their last 8 matches. That's a disaster. You're not a contender anymore at this point. You are not a top club. The way they started the season, yes.
Is masking the deficiencies now.
But
sure.
As soon as we started to get exposed for playing the same exact way that we always play, where teams will press us and they beat us every single time on that, that's how we're going to lose. What's going to happen now when we play against Orlando and we play against Red Bull again and we play against Atlanta and we got Columbus coming down the pike and we got Toronto? This is not – we haven't had the most difficult beginning of the season. We haven't had the hardest 11, 12 matches of the season. The difficulties are to come, and the more fatigued these players get, the harder these games are going to be, especially when you're going into the summer where there's a few times where you're playing Saturday, Wednesday, Sunday, or Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday. Like, if you think the true colors haven't come out yet, just wait until those weeks. We got one coming up. We're going to talk a little bit about that as well.
I think we have 3 weeks like that. We have this week became one because of the Open Cup. And then you have, I think, another July one that happens.
We have a stretch where we're there Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, I think, where we're at Yankee Stadium.
We might as well pitch a tent.
Honestly. Steven is saying that if they make the playoffs, they have a puncher's chance of advancing. Listen, let's say if they make the playoffs. Because I'll tell you right now, when teams like Toronto start to hit their stride, that red line is going to get very, very thick very, very quickly, especially as you get into July and August in the meat of the season when you've got the international break, you got the World Cup break, where they got to play a lot of games in a shorter period of time. It's going to be very, very difficult. You've got Orlando, Red Bulls, and Atlanta in 8 days, says Steven here. That's not going to be an easy week. I want to jump a little bit ahead to the Open Cup game, but before we do that, who's the dude of the match for this game? Because, damn it, dude, I don't even know. Like, it was so far.
It's not from our team. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, it's like, dude, I'm not really sure here. Guys, start throwing up who the dude of the match was. I can tell you that if this is another one where we have to give it to another, we got some votes for Sean Johnson coming through, which is surprising. He, as we learned from the Champions League game, the keepers can't win you games, but they sure can lose you games.
That was bad.
Yeah, well, we got to chat a little bit about that, dude, because that's obviously probably the most exciting thing that happened this weekend.
Oh, that was bad.
Everybody's saying, I got a lot of people saying Sean Johnson here, that he was the only one that showed up. He did make some ridiculous saves. I have to make the case for Ramel Kyoto, who was giving us issues from the first minute of the game. Picked up the assist, had a hell of a game, took several shots, but dude, what do you think about giving it to Sean Johnson?
You know what?
It's hard in a game that you lose like that. It's hard in a game where you lose like that.
Yeah, I can see if it's 2-1 that we lose. All right, then it's fine. But a 3-1 game where you were just outclassed the entire second half of the game. How is he the man of the match? He's our dude of the match. But is he really the dude of the match? No, he's really not. If you want to, I'll leave it up to you. If you want to give it to Sean Johnson, it's okay by me. But the fact that we've already given it to players not on this team for wins, I think we should probably stick with that and don't give it where it's not deserved. Andres
is saying, or Herrera for taking the team with him to the hospital. Yeah.
How do they all fit on that wheelchair?
Amanda is saying because no one else played. It's hard, dude. I can understand. Sean Johnson is the one I feel bad for because this wasn't him letting us down. Darius, this was. Sorry, I'm sorry. I feel so bad for the guy too. But. Yeah, dude. I mean, he was the highest rated player next to David Villa on who your brother is saying Tommy for not showing up hungover. Yeah. Listen, if you have to give it to somebody on NYCFC, you have to give it to Sean Johnson.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. If you have to give it to someone, I just don't think that anybody on our team deserves it. Just because of the way the game was lost. I don't blame Sean Johnson, so I don't want to take it away from him. But again, I'm also doing a disservice to someone else on the other team who made our lives living hell for 90 minutes.
But that, honestly, dude, that was a collective effort because it wasn't just him; it was everyone. Like they were causing us all sorts of problems. I mean, the pressure that they were putting on us. It wasn't just one player. It was 4, 5, 6 guys.
All right. I'll give it to Sean Johnson.
I understand. Listen, it's hard. It's very.
It is.
It's really difficult. I think this would be the first time that an NYCFC player got the dude of the match in a game that they sucked so bad.
Yeah, in a long time. If
I'm not mistaken.
This season.
Guys, if you want Sean Johnson to get the dude of the match, this is serious business here. Okay. This is not.
This is a freaking dilemma.
We're keeping a record of this. Lalo is saying, I'm with Anthony. No one deserves it. Should go to someone from Houston. We played horrible. Steven is asking, who do you want to give it to on Houston? I think Kyoto. I think just the toughness that he was providing in the midfield, the chances he was creating, the crosses he was putting into the box. If I had to single-handedly give it to somebody, he'd be the person that I would give it to. Houston as a whole deserved it a lot more than we did. But, dude, I have a lot more votes. So one more time.
Well, let's do it this way. Do we give it to Houston as a team effort? As a collective, due to the general, do we generalize it that way rather than give Sean Johnson a participation trophy? Participation trophy? Is that what it is? Am I saying precipitation trophy?
A precipitation trophy?
I just don't. It's not that it's not warranted. He played well, but I mean,
dude,
look,
this really is a tough one.
This is the hardest.
Okay, guys, in the comments right now. Whoever gets the most comments is going to get it. Sean Johnson or Kyoto. Put him in now, Sean Johnson or Kyoto, and whoever gets the most in the next minute or so is going to get due to the match because I don't know at this point. The team just sucked. The team just sucked. We looked okay in the first half. David Villa picked up a great goal. Great. Everybody's writing in a collective Houston now. Nobody listens.
Collective Houston it is.
You know? It's just, come on.
Listen, Houston Dynamo, dudes of the match.
Really? This is the first time an entire team is getting...
But you know what, though? It's nice to... Isn't it nice when NYCFC wins and it can be given to the collective team?
A lot of Johnsons coming through, dude.
That's a little weird, dude.
Dude, I'm seeing a lot of Johnson here.
That's great. Good for you, pal. All right, so you count them up. Count them up. Do a count here.
I only got 3 for Collective Houston, and on my screen I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Johnsons.
Dude, you are watching some weird videos, man.
Oh, my God.
All right, Sean Johnson it is.
That's it. End it. We're ending it here.
Johnson.
Sean Johnson, congratulations. You got a participation trophy from the dudes in blue. Hang it up on the shelf along with the other ones. Lauren, if you're in this broadcast or possibly in the same room, add it to the Google Doc.
She's downstairs. She has to add it when she gets back.
Add it to the Google Doc. Sean Johnson gets it, even though Houston Dynamo completely ate our lunch. Let's shift gears here a little bit, dude. Who watched the Champions League final? Put up in the comments. So we had a barbecue over the weekend at my house, and we had about 30 people over, and about 6 of us.
6 of us sat together for 3 hours.
Sat together for 2 hours watching the Champions League final against Liverpool and Real Madrid. That was, again, goalkeepers cannot win games, but they can absolutely lose them. You gotta feel bad for Karius, dude, because...
Yeah, listen, I mean, I'm all for it. If someone's to blame, which in team sports is usually difficult. It's difficult to pin things on one person because it's usually a chain of events that happen. But, I mean, this guy just had 2 hiccups that cannot happen at any point in time during any kind of meaningful game. Any game, really. I mean, it's just the rolling of the ball where Benzema's right there, and then you're just letting the shot go right through your hands. I mean, it's awful, and yes, I 100% blame him, but the hate is just not warranted. I mean, he helped get you guys all the way there, number one. And number 2, he's a human being. I mean, it's just a game. It's a game, albeit it's a very important game, a game that we all love. And I know 2 people whose lives it pretty much controls right here. But it's just the death threats and the complaining.
Yeah,
it's much. It's much, and I understand, but it's just take it easy. He's a dude. He's a human being.
Dude, Jorge is saying we need our players to play with the same desire to win as Ramos. So you mean intentionally, like dislocating a man's shoulder?
Intentionally, unintentionally. He actually threw an elbow on Karius in like the 49th minute or something like that. He's in the 40s.
I feel bad for Salah. David is saying I feel bad for Salah. I feel horrible for that. That's pretty sad. And we still don't know like how serious the injury is. It looked pretty serious. He might miss the World Cup for this, which would be absolutely horrible.
Yeah, especially for a guy like that when the whole
country's behind that guy,
is putting them on your shoulders.
Yeah.
No pun intended, but it's difficult. It's difficult, and that's just I don't know if that's as much dirty as it is unfortunate, just because of the way they were hooked up.
Jorge says whatever it takes.
Listen, at some point, I wish we would hit people like that.
Guys,
Red Bull,
if
I wish
you
we
had
could
to compare, Sergio Ramos to one player on NYCFC, who would it be? Put it in the comments below.
Yangel Herrera.
No, I'm gonna give it to Alex Ring.
Really? I think Alex Ring is much cleaner than Herrera is. I know he picks up the yellow cards, but I think Herrera is just like doesn't.
Okay, all right. In that regard, maybe. In that regard, maybe.
But talent-wise, nobody.
Jeez. Anyway, yeah. So that was quite, Real Madrid. It's like, dude, can anything not go their way?
Can we just talk about Gareth Bale for like 5
comes
minutes?
On
because nobody.
Everybody's saying Herrera, by the way.
Yeah.
We got Herrera. We got a couple for Alex Ring as well. That's really funny, dude. Gareth Bale comes on, and within like 15 minutes, scores a ridiculous bicycle kick.
Well, was it you or my dad? I mean, neither of us follow Real Madrid. I don't. I'm not
a Real Madrid fan.
I don't even follow Premier League that closely. I try to watch everything because I enjoy everything. So it's hard to pledge allegiance to any one squad. But for me, you keep your ears open and you read the tweets, stuff like that, what goes on. And Gareth Bale is not a regular starter for Real Madrid. So you asked me the question. You were like, "Why isn't Bale in there?" And I'm like, "They don't like him. Like nobody on Real Madrid likes Gareth Bale." And they put him in, and the minute he got on the field, we were like, "What the hell just happened?"
Yeah.
Completely turned the game on its head, and I don't care who you are, nobody is stopping.
Listen, Real Madrid's first goal, Benzema's goal, was totally on Karius. The second goal was all Gareth Bale, and then the third goal was all on Karius. So in my mind, the game should have went to extra time. And if it wasn't for Karius, the game goes to extra time,
and then the referees figure out some way how to give Real Madrid a penalty, and Ronaldo scores with 3 minutes, stoppage time left, and then they win, and he's a hero again.
And Ronaldo takes off his shirt.
And takes off his shirt, of course, yeah, because why not?
That's pretty much the way it works. But yeah, very very exciting end to that match. Just a really good. You feel bad for Salah. You really hope he's back. You hope Danny Carvajal is also back as he went out with an injury. I think it was an ankle injury.
But he was walking on his own.
He didn't look as serious as Salah was. But
anytime an ankle injury like that, where you can put pressure on it, it's probably not as bad as one would think. I mean, Yangel Herrera's, I think, with a boot on, you're probably looking at 4 weeks minimum, depending on how severe. But listen, I want to go back to that for a minute, too, before we start moving forward. I mean, a lot of people are saying that, he's the key passer and another key passer in the midfield, that's why we lost. No, it's not. It's not. We lost because the defense can't get the ball to the midfield, and he has nothing to do with it. Yeah, he has good passes every now and then, but he makes just as many boneheaded mistakes as anybody else does.
Wait, who?
Herrera.
Oh.
I think the choice of
we're bouncing backwards here. You're like Quentin Tarantinoing this show right now.
I just wanted to get it out because I know that a lot of people are going to say that he's the reason why we fell apart. It's not. It's really not. It was the choice of substitution. It was the style of play, the formation. It all played into it. Just don't give me that. He's the savior all of a sudden because he's been doing really boneheaded things for the last 3 or 4 matches, and he's getting on a lot of people's nerves. And all of a sudden he goes out, and all of a sudden everybody's like, "Oh yeah, it's him." No, it's not. It's not. Let's be realistic. And I'm just curious as to how much more we can take. I'm curious as to how many more games we could lose the same way. How many more before we make a decision on what's going on here?
Well, we've got a few games this coming week to figure that out on.
I'm not excited. I am not. I am dreading this.
No. I almost want to let's just talk real quick because I saw some comments come through earlier about the Open Cup match against Red Bull.
Yeah, let's do that.
Before we shift gears once again, but the Open Cup against Red Bull at Red Bull Arena, I will not be attending this match. Just letting you all know. In case I know you're all wondering that, but do we take this one? Let's assume that Vieira can put the pieces together to actually field a squad that's capable of winning this thing. Do we take it as seriously as we have in the past?
I don't know. I think we took it kind of serious last year, and we ended up still losing 1-0. But I don't know. The prize to me with the Champions League in the balance is nice, but the prize money does nothing. I mean, we've got more money than
it's about going for a piece of silverware. Like let's call it what it is.
It would be nice, but I just think that with the lineup stipulations where, like, look, we couldn't play a lot of players the first year at not the first year, but at Fordham the second year, we couldn't play a lot of players that we wanted to because of lineup stipulations, and now we've got more internationals than ever. It feels like, and you can't fill the lineup like that. You have to put your Americans forward here, and I don't know what kind of lineup you're going to put in because a lot of those guys haven't gotten minutes.
So I got a couple comments here, dude, real quick. Henry is saying, no, we don't take it seriously, especially when we're playing Atlanta a few days later. So we have Orlando at home, then we have Open Cup, and then we have Atlanta at home. They're going to be two difficult league games that we have in the same week as the Open Cup. David is saying that we need to take it seriously.
Well, here's the thing. We'll go back to we'll go to that one with what David said.
He also says it's about getting a cup, like I mentioned before,
which is fine. I think this one right now, this cup game, the players need to 150% take it seriously because you're going to have a lot of players who don't get minutes in this game, and this may be your only opportunity to show the coach what you've got, where you can be valuable, without hurting the team in the standings.
Well, that's another thing. He just said, play the young guns. Let's see what they can do.
Right, but I mean, you've got to field a lineup where you have to worry about the two games bookending that game in the earlier in the week and later in the week against two formidable opponents, and you've got to work in guys who have never played this season. So I'm interested to see, but these guys got to step up. That Wednesday game has to be played at 110% from anyone that's on the field. Because,
even if you lose 1-0, 2-1, you better put up a fight.
Yeah, you better have like 4 or 5 chances on net because otherwise it's just there's no positive to gain out of rolling over and dying in a game like that. There is no positive. You need to find some sort of positive, and if you're not going to go for it from the cup standpoint of trying to win some silverware, you have to look at it from the point of, I need to figure out which of these guys who doesn't get regular minutes on my team can give me something moving forward. I need to see that. So Lewis, Sands, Ibiaga's gonna be in the mix, which is he's been there for a while now. McNamara, these guys might get a look, and these are the guys that are gonna have to put it together and go forward as hard as they can because they might not get another chance to do this rest of the year.
But here's the thing, dude. NYCFC advancing also adds more matches to our already congested schedule. So is this something that you want to – it's going to sound horrible for me to say it like this, but is this something that you want to have – is this cup something that you want to have to deal with going into a busy summer schedule against some heavy-hitting teams? You know what I'm saying? Well,
listen, you do get those 2 weeks off.
Right?
Which is nice. You get 2 weeks off, so I'm going to build in – you're going to play another 4 games? Mm-hmm. Is that what it ends up being? Somewhere close to between 3 and 5 games for a cup?
Something like that, yeah.
I got to believe that, yeah, you can do it. And are you going to be congested? Yes. But you have to count on the guys who aren't going to give it to you during the regular season. And it would behoove those guys to play as hard as they can to try to find their way into a starting 18 at some point in the next coming weeks because we're going to have to rotate those guys with the schedule the way it is. You're not going to be able to keep playing and subbing the same players every week because it's going to get difficult. So these guys have to step up and they have to show who can fill whose shoes the best and who's giving you what moving forward. And this is an opportunity to do it. You're not going to lose points if you lose the game. So if you want to try to play different tactically or something like that, that's fine. But the players that do go out there have to give 110% as hard as they can because these are the guys who are going to end up playing a couple minutes, when the schedule is congested. Or if they don't do it, then you're in a world of trouble because you're playing the same legs, the same 18, guys you're playing three games in a week, a couple times a season. It's just bad news.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see what happens. I mean, this was kind of like sprung on everybody. We were like, oh, by the way, there's another match next Wednesday night, which I thought was this Wednesday, but it's not. It's next Wednesday. I was like, dude, are we doing a show Thursday night? You were like, why? I was like,
do you know something I don't know?
yeah, crazy. Speaking of which, guys, we're going to be doing a show next Thursday night after the U.S. Open Cup match on Wednesday. So you're going to get us Monday night at 8 covering the Orlando match. Then you're going to get us Thursday night at 8 covering the Red Bull match. And then you're going to get us Monday night again following the Atlanta match.
It's a dudes and blue sandwich. We are the meat and the bread.
Oh, that's disgusting. Nobody wants to eat that.
Like those chicken burritos, those chicken tacos from Taco Bell.
Oh, that sounds absolutely terrible. So we do hope you guys join us for that extra, that bonus episode, I'll call it, the Thursday night. I don't even know what date that is, but it's the day after the Open Cup game.
June 1st is Friday. 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Yeah, Thursday the 7th.
It's the 7th. Okay, good. Yeah, so we'll be live Thursday night on the 7th following the U.S. Open Cup match as well. Hey, one more little bit of news. 87th minute currently, United States men's national team is up 3-0 against Bolivia. A lot of youngsters getting some time here, dude. Gotta tell you, I watched the first half, and it was really exciting to watch these young guys get some minutes there, specifically Timothy Weah, who actually scored. We got Walker Zimmerman, Josh Sargent, and Timothy Weah putting up goals. So hopefully we'll see what the youth of the United States men's national team will bring. I mean, I always take these games with a grain of salt because they mean nothing other than getting these kids some of their first minutes. But
yeah, listen, that's another thing that these Open Cups are good for. You've got a lot of United States talent being showcased. Not so much showcased, but you have to play X number of Americans, no matter what your team is. It gives some guys a chance to be shown. And listen, all it takes is for one or two of these young guys to have a great Open Cup run, 2 or 3 games, and you can look at a possibility of getting called up to a training camp and making your way into the national team. And I mean, it's all for the betterment of U.S. soccer, which we know is in total disarray for God knows how long. But
yeah, well, listen. You hope that the youth is I don't know, something to look forward to. But we got 4 years to develop it. Unless you count qualifiers. But dude, are we going to talk like World Cup stuff when?
Well, we're going to have 2 weeks of non-NYCFC, so we're going to have to do something like that.
Are we doing our own World Cup coverage?
Wow. We could do that, even though all our teams are out.
Yeah. But we didn't have to pay $200 million to talk about it like
exactly.
Fox did.
Yeah, we probably we'll have to definitely cover the group stage because there's nothing else going on. Maybe some transfer news, possibly. No.
July.
When's our transfer? It's July or August?
I think it's July.
All right, so yeah, we probably won't get too much into that, but we'll cover everything. And I guess those 2 weeks, episode-wise, will definitely have more to do with what our wonderful viewers and listeners want to talk about. Which it looks like they have a few minutes right now to get some stuff off their chest if they want to.
That's right. If there's anything else you guys want to get off your chest, now would be the time as we start to wrap up the show. Throw them up in the comments. We really hope.
You've got roughly 6, 7, 8. You got 6 minutes plus stoppage, so go.
Jorge is saying Rodney and Mata watch? Question mark. I think.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. I think we have to keep a close eye on Costa Rica.
You guys can. David is saying you guys can cover Costa Rica since Mata and Wallace will be playing. That's one we'll be paying a little bit closer attention to, I think.
For sure.
Steven is asking if we have our brackets yet, but I didn't pick anybody yet. Honestly, I'm still not tied to anybody. It's gonna be really tough. I mean, since the U.S. and Italy are both out, I'm like, I got nothing. Maybe I'll do one of those DNA tests and find out that I'm like a quarter Egyptian, and
you're actually related to Mo Salah.
Yeah, I am. All of us. Is that why my shoulder's been bothering me the last couple days?
I don't know. Wait a minute. Hold on. So, depending on what part of DNA goes there, that means we might be part Egyptian as well. We might be able to, dude. We could. We might be descendants of Mo Salah. Who knows? We might as well be. No, Costa Rica is definitely a good team to watch. I know EA Sports did their simulation today, through their FIFA simulator, and ended up with a final four of France, Belgium, Germany, Spain. France playing Spain in the World Cup, and France winning.
Okay.
So that's a little
France winning the cup?
Yeah, France winning it all.
Interesting. James is asking, so does Costa Rica become the official NYCFC team?
I guess it has to. I mean, I personally, I think David Villa has grown so much on me over the last 3-4 years. I just have to I want to see Spain do something.
Yeah.
But
at
again,
the same time, dude, but at the same time, you look at Argentina and you're like, Higuain, Dybala, Aguero, Messi. I'm like, what do I do?
That's like the greatest FIFA Ultimate Team ever.
It's like, oh man. Speaking of which, I've been thinking about this for a really, really long time. I would love to do more FIFA-related content for Dudes in Blue. Let us know in the comments. Do you guys play FIFA? Does anybody play FIFA here? Because I'm curious. I would love to figure out a way to incorporate FIFA in like a part of our content that we give. Whether, like when we first started this, I was doing match simulations for NYCFC, like leading up to the match each week. They weren't that great. Like they didn't do all that great. But I'm just curious, like, what can we do? Because we play so much FIFA.
Listen, if nobody, I can't see everybody's comments. I'm relying on you telling me, but for me, I think it would be kind of cool if we did a FIFA simulation for the week, the game ahead, or the 2 games ahead, depending on what day we're doing the show. Just to compare and see, like, how.
But what if we made it more interesting? Like, what if we actually did like a Let's Play where you and I played? One of us was NYCFC and the other one was the other team.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm down for that. We could do that.
Like,
we'll have to flip a coin somehow. We'll have to flip a coin and see who gets to be NYCFC, and we have to go from there. I think that's a pretty damn good idea.
Right? Jorge is saying, what if you guys play the other NYCFC podcasters? Maybe. Like the Cooligans. Everybody liked that Cooligans episode, by the way. Thanks for hanging out with us on that one.
We'll
we gotta do something here, dude. Because I feel like we miss out so much, like with the amount of FIFA that we play, that we could be doing, like,
a couple
so
extra
much.
videos. Oh yeah, absolutely. That's a given. I think FIFA needs to be incorporated. Faux show.
So, if you guys have any ideas on that, let us know. Let us know what you think we could do with FIFA, because we're always looking for another reason to play it.
If you can give me more reason to sit in front of my television, God bless you.
So if it's Dudes in Blue related, that'd be pretty great. Well, guys, we really do appreciate you hanging out with us on this Memorial Day. We do hope you guys had a great Memorial Day weekend, and you have a great week ahead of you going into the match on Saturday at Yankee Stadium against Orlando. That's going to be a good match. Jason Christ returns to Yankee Stadium again. And we will definitely be here Monday night at 8 p.m. for episode 106, covering that match and any other drama that happens this week. Maybe Patrick decides to go to Nice. Something. I don't know. Maybe somebody misunderstood and he's like going to visit his niece. Like, is that... Well,
that would make so much sense.
We're like, oh, he said it was a personal matter. He's going to visit his niece. Boy, did we get that one wrong.
You'll have to excuse my friend. He's a little slow.
Oh man! Well, we do appreciate you guys hanging out with us all this time for episode 105. Hope you guys have a great Memorial Day. We'll be back Monday night, 8 p.m. Give us the follow: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're at Dudes in Blue. Leave us the review on iTunes and Facebook, wherever you want to leave us the review. Let us know how you like the show. But dude, until next time.
Stay blue.